Hello, hello. This is Krisitina, digital marketing coach, and today is a new episode of KSM Podcast Growing Business Online with Krisitina. I have such a pleasure to have my special guest speaker, a lady, Donna Dahl. Donna, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and Donna, tell a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, where are you based?
Well, I'm based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And what I do is I write and I coach. I'm an author. I am a ghostwriter. I am a speaker. And I particularly enjoy being an empowerment coach. One of the best things that I think can happen for entrepreneurs is to help them, support them as they create a manuscript to write their own book. It's how I started my business, and with my favorite book is Lessons I Learned from the Tortoise. It's on Amazon, and it takes you through 22 lessons that Aesop forgot to write about when he was writing about the tortoise and the hare.
Oh, that's nice. Lovely story, and I'm super happy having you today at KSM Podcast as a special guest speaker, really. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And Donna, how did you start? How did you start your journey? And can you tell us a little bit about your background and what triggered you to start what you do now, or as start doing as a coach?
Well, you know, Krisitina, there's a lot of us who start out somewhere and end up with changes taking place along the way, so that where we end up doesn't resemble anything like where we started. I know that there are people listening who can identify with that. So for me, when after a car accident, I ended up not being able to follow all the things that I had trained to do, such as, for instance, work in the realm of psychology. And so I had always been operating a business on the side, always. I mean, I'm the daughter of an entrepreneur. How could I not honor the entrepreneur in me? But it took 10 years after the accident for me to be ready to say, okay, world, I'd like to step into making a contribution. I'd like to make a difference. And so, sometimes the universe answers. And in this case, a publisher from a local magazine invited me to write an article for women in business. And I said, me? Really? But with encouragement, with support, I said, okay. And that article became a book, and that book launched my coaching business. I have been a coach now since 2005, and I have an incredible track record with being able to support people in achieving their success.
And this is really amazing. Just you can see that universe or something like that, just what happened, and you just move forward. It's not I don't mean by accident. Something we happen in our life that we just really need to follow up sometimes. What do you think? Just imagine your article. You started to recover from your accident, and then you wrote an article, and then you continue just starting helping people to write a book, I mean, and coaching them. this is really fantastic, and your stories is such a has impact. I mean, just for our listeners who listen that, because just you cannot do as you, yeah, and this is really lovely just to hear that story.
Thank you. What I wanted to do was to take my training and take my intuition and put it together in a way that could make a difference. So now I work with leaders, and I also work with entrepreneurs who are wanting to create the platform for their work through their book.
Oh, that's nice. And you are a writer and
Yes.
coach for the book writing. And
Yes.
yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. And you, as you said, you work with entrepreneurs, how to can you tell us a little bit about that? Like how do you work with clients? How do you coach them one-to-one, one-to-group, and just about what they get from you when they work with you? Just like how do you help them?
I love to work one-on-one. You know, there's something special about having a cheerleader in your court, someone who listens, pays attention to where you're coming from, to what you want to say, to how you want to be, to what you want to become. It's inspiring all by itself. And so often as entrepreneurs, when we tell our family or we tell our friends about our dreams or our hopes or our plans, they can kind of look sideways at you and go, "Are you for real? Is that really what you want to do? You're going to quit your job?" You know, and so we can easily find the naysayers, but it's not always as easy to find the cheerleaders. And so I'm applying to be your cheerleader.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice, just to be a cheerleader. Fantastic, Yeah, that's really nice. And as you said, you have your story before you started as a coach, and can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Well, in fact, I've written 6 books, but I like to focus most particularly on lessons I learned from the tortoise. It's the one that is the most easily attainable to get, because it's on Amazon as an ebook, and so it's available to anybody in the world. When Aesop wrote the fable, he said, the wind doesn't always go to the swiftest person. And while that may be true, the wind is only part of it. And so in the first lesson that I bring out in the book is, it's okay to be first. There are those people who claim that they feel imposter syndrome when they stand up to stand out. And that's not fair. That's not appropriate. We all deserve to stand up and stand out and claim our space. So lesson number 1, it's okay to be first. Lesson number 2 is, it's okay to be second. Because, if you only enter the race to be first, you won't be able to celebrate along with all the other people who also participated in the race and who maybe came. I mean, in a horse race, we have first, second, third. All of them win a prize. So it's okay to be second. I'll continue with, what's the third lesson? You're going to say it's okay to be third. No, the third lesson is, it's okay to be last. Think about being the last person to cross the finish line in a 26-mile marathon. Wouldn't you want to stand up to the world and say, I did it? I started and I finished. I completed my goal. And so we should never stop just because we're not going to place in the top 3 or the top 10 or whatever that number is. Why can't we just keep going to be able to claim the right to say, I did it?
Sound great.
It's a powerful book. And if you go to Amazon and read the reviews, one of the people who left a recommendation about the book said that, in his opinion, the book was a classic.
Really, nice, and from many of my guest speakers, you're just really different than other guests, because especially with your book and what you wrote in that book, and that rules number 1, number 2. For all listeners who listen to this podcast, just go to the Amazon and check it out about the book, Lesson I Learned. Is it correct?
It's called Lessons I Learned
Lesson
from
I
the
Learned.
Tortoise.
Tortoise. That's from Donna Dahl. This is fantastic, Donna, it's amazing, I love that. So, and what about other books? What maybe do you have your favorite, which you said the first one about?
Yes.
But do you have it before? You said that you wrote 6 books. Is that correct?
Yes, I've written 6 books. I'm all about self-empowerment.
Oh,
it's a little bit different than self-help. So I don't give you the formula for these are the 7 clues that you need. I don't give you the formula. I give you the opportunity to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
So when you reflect on your own practice, when you reflect on your own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, that gives you an opportunity to solidify or make change.
Oh, that's really nice.
Your choice.
Yeah.
Other books, I've written a couple on trade shows that fit very nicely into the world of authors who want to launch, do a book launch or do a pre-launch. There's lots of tips and tricks in there. I've written another book called Empowering the Leader Within You: The 7 Essentials to Being a Standout Entrepreneur. And in that book, I do something very, very different for the realm of business, because again, many business books are about the how-tos, the steps to take. And what I get into is developing community. By developing a sense of community, we develop a support system, and we create the ability to do business with each other. We develop that grow, like, and trust philosophy that we need in order to exchange business, exchange ideas, and exchange products and services.
Yes, and this is really true, because when we work with, when we have and know each other, and when we build our community with trustworthy people who believe in us and who connect with us, and on that way we build relationship, professional part and also in life as well. And this is something really good. As you said, that I'm one of co-authors of the book, Global Women in Business, which I'm super proud of. And this book is from 7 amazing ladies all around the globe. And this is it published 2019. It was now long time ago. But yeah, this is lovely. There are 7 ladies from New Zealand, Australia, UK. I'm from Serbia, and from USA and France also. So this is such a for me it was so it was so like challengeable for me to start it, but it was lovely, just to be one of co-authors of that. Thank you, And I know how I'm in connection with all those authors, and we are nurturing our connections, and this is love, And I can just imagine how do you feel in terms to have your own 6 written books? This is something fabulous. I mean,
I have more to write. I'm not finished yet.
Oh yeah, this is lovely. Yeah, and when you, for example, when someone wanted to start writing a book, how you can help that person, this person, for example, just what they could expect to work with you, just to.
Well, what they can expect is motivation, inspiration, affirmation that they're doing something that is unique and special. No 2 books are the same. So no 2 authors are the same. Everybody has a different purpose or reason for doing their book. I like to work one-on-one. I don't like to work in groups, because when we're doing a book, that's intellectual property, and it doesn't necessarily deserve to be shared in the beginning stages. So I do a foundation program that takes people through a 4-week process where we build the foundation that will be the book. And some authors at the end of that time like to go off on their own and continue until it's time to bring me back into the editing part. And some like to have a little bit of hand-holding along the way as they proceed. So it depends on the author, how strong and comfortable they feel in launching into the process. Some people say, well, how long should my book have to be? Very good question. If we're following the industry standards from the top publishers, in order to write a business book, we might normally be writing in the neighborhood of 60,000 words. And you go, oh, 60,000 words? I can barely write 500 at a time. Well, not all books are 60,000 words. I'm sure that many of the listeners have read a book like Who Moved My Cheese? Or The 1 Minute Manager, which are books by Ken Blanchard. And neither of those books come with anything like 60,000 words. So how compact can you say what you need to say? Does it need illustrations or not? What is your secret sauce, in a sense? What is your superpower that you can use as the piece that makes you unique and special?
Yeah, that's really true. And as you said, about when you mentioned 60,000 words, how many pages is about going to be? I'm not too much familiar with that.
Well, if you've looked into your library recently, you notice that some books are thicker than others, and some books are bigger than others.
Yeah.
The books I've written range around 30,000 words. That will cover about 150 pages. 150 pages. So depending on the size of the page, could be anywhere from 250 to 350 words per page. So in the book writing industry, we tend to deal in words, not in pages.
I know. Maybe here in here in my country, when you do something, it was like letters or some, it doesn't matter, but anyway, because of that I am asking you maybe some kind of but I think that all publisher have the similar and the same rules in terms of publishing, and put illustration, graphics, whatever, just to have that book will be much more attractive. I mean, when you read it, not only just the written content.
Sometimes not.
Yeah, and depends of authors, and depends, I mean, of the topic which that book covered. I mean, that would be maybe just for discussion with for listeners who will listen, that just to connect with you, and just that you can help them to move forward in terms if they have idea to write a book.
Having an idea is a good place to start. And the thing that people find the most challenge with respect to writing is the commitment to the time. And so that's one of the biggest challenges virtually anybody has with respect to writing, and that is the commitment to taking the time. So if you even have 15, 20 minutes a day to write, it's amazing what you might have on the page or on your file in the space of even 30 days.
Just when you put in the mathematics side and just see how many pages you can create and write, and create a book finally,
Yes.
A written book, which is so fantastic, that.
Well, here's the thing, Krisitina. If we would not have been able to have access to Shakespeare's plays, we wouldn't have nearly the understanding that we have of what it was like in England during his lifetime. His stories, his plays gave us insight, gave us appreciation. And so I say to people, if we don't write about our experience, if we don't write about things that are from our wisdom, the world in the future is never going to have access to what it was like in 2023.
Yeah.
And so I challenge people to say, if you have just the smallest inkling that you would love to do a book, let's chat.
That's fantastic. So for listeners who will listen to this podcast, is my special guest, Donna Dahl, just connect with Donna and she could help you, as I said, if you have idea to move you forward and to run you through the process to help you to achieve your goals, just write your book. And we really deserve to know from future time which come, that we really deserve to know how it looks like 2023 or 2024. If we don't have written content, how we will show up to the newbies and new entrepreneurs, and who are still babies, from, let's say, in 10 years, to know how it was that nowadays, 2023, 2022, or this is really fantastic. How do you think? Yeah, I am super excited with that. Thank you for sharing, and for remind us to write any kind of, just to have something in written format and put in file.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice. And what I wanted to ask you, you work online as well. And how do you, I met you in one fantastic networking event. And it was lovely to know you and to get to know you and have you today and have you on the podcast today. So can you tell us a little bit about networking and how do you connect with potential clients, or just, and do you work only with women or with men, males and females? Just about it.
Thank you for your question, Krisitina. I love to work online. It allows me to work with people from all over the world. I work with men and women equally. There's no gender bias or preference on my part. So I use a Zoom platform or Google Meet, whatever my client prefers to work with. And with with respect to networking, I say, as I've said often, a business without a sign is a sign of no business. So if we don't have a website, if we're not on LinkedIn, if we don't have a presence on Facebook, we have to show up somewhere to be the sign that we are in business. And so while many people who are in networking have a website, are on LinkedIn, are on Facebook, they still need to make a connection. If we go to buy a pair of shoes, the chances are we will need some help with respect to getting the right size. We need a human being, an intervention of some sort to help us be fitted properly. So it helps if we can be the person who's making the intervention between the business that we do and the person that we want to work with. We are that intervention. So it's up to us to present ourselves with integrity, with authority, with empathy, kindness, and confidence that we are the person to do the job.
Yeah, we are the person really to do the job, and we really need to connect and to build relationship and to network. As you said at the start of the podcast, if we don't build community, this is the way how we build community. Yes. To build a job and to get support, as you said. And the point of KSM podcast is to help my guest speakers to grow business online. As you said, if we don't have, I more than 13 years run a team for the web and graphic design, and this is the way how I started my podcast. And people really need to have that web presentation. Either is it a website with many pages or one landing page, or to be present on social media, which you prefer and which you use that for that where is your audience to be. And we also need to update that. Everything what we do, we need to update that people can see and share our posts, and someone will come to you and see your profile. There are people who didn't upload nothing, let's say 2 years, and you can say, okay, yeah, I know from my professional part. And when I check it out, and you can see, as you said, you can go check it out, see websites, what you do and what was the last time when you post something, and people can see, okay, this profile doesn't work. This person is not too much professional. I mean, as you said. I mean, in terms, if people don't update and don't post and tell what they do, just to be live in terms in online space.
Yes, just like the storekeeper needs to restock the shelves sometimes every day, the entrepreneur needs to be mindful of the people who are dropping by to pay a visit and find out what's new.
Yeah, and how listeners can, I will put all information about your website and links to your social media pages, business pages, how people can connect with you, how people, listeners who will listen this episode of KSM podcast, how people can reach out to you and connect with you.
Oh, that's a great question, Krisitina. My website is Donna P. Dahl. There's an initial in there, donnapdahl.com, DONNAPDAHL.com. And the best place to find me is on LinkedIn under my name, Donna Dahl. So the usual LinkedIn information at the front and my name, Donna Dahl, at the back. So very, very easy to find me. Just don't confuse me with the DOLL, because I'm DAHL.
Oh, that's nice. And I asked you many questions, but for people who wanted to start their business, let's say to be writers or whatever, can you, before we ramp up our call today, can you share some message of encouragement, encourage people to, and entrepreneurs to start their writing journey, for example?
Well, to start a writing journey, I think my best suggestion would be, what is the question that people ask you the most? What is the question that people ask you the most? That's what they're looking for in terms of an answer. And that answer could be the theme of your entire book.
That's really nice. Donna, it was lovely talking to you today. Thank you so much. I'm super excited, and I'll think that you will be my guest again on KSM Podcast Growing Business Online with Krisitina. It was such a pleasure having you.
Likewise, I was happy to be here with you, Krisitina. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and bye for now.